Alright, welcome everybody to another installment of the Pokemon TCG Offline Series. Thinking of doing a little bit more for this episode, might put some sound effects in later. I found ways to make the initial editing a little bit easier. So I lead off here with Mulligan, and I think I speed up the footage. Yeah, I mulligan like 6 times, which is really bad because my opponent gets a lot of mileage off of, like, you know, every single time you mulligan, your opponent has the option to draw a card, and they draw like 6 cards, leading them off to a huge advantage. They also go first. I lose the coin flip. And then I lead off with an Enamorus, which is like a worthless card, and I get rid of it in future iterations of the deck. But, yeah. Gotta play the cards you're dealt, right? Both in life and in literal Pokemon cards, you know. But yeah, leading off here, lead off with the Enamorus, doesn't do much. My opponent does lead off with a Mareep. Whenever you see a Mareep, you know your opponent is going... Yeah, you can see the Flaffy in their hand too. Flaffy has an ability called Dynamotor, which lets you attach a lightning energy from the discard pile to, I think it's your bench Pokemon. Attaching an air balloon to Mareep and playing a Stormy Mountain Stadium as well, which lets them grab a basic lightning Pokemon from their deck and place it onto their bench. They grab a Raikou, which is really toxic with the air balloon on the Mareep. A lot of momentum off of those mulligans, and it's really weird because I don't run like a low amount of basics, right? I think there's about 8 to 10 in this deck, maybe closer to like 7, but little too many. So it's kind of strange, a little bit frustrating, but you know. Luck of the draw. I mean, it's a card game. You don't want to take it too seriously. I mean, as long as you're not making severe misplays, you know, probably shouldn't take the game too seriously, right? My opponent level balls here, grabbing another Mareep down. Two Flaffies Dynamotorings. We saw my opponent having 2 Flaffies in their hand. It's very scary. Really worried about how I'm going to come back from this. But I do have a really strong turn 1 here. Hisuian Heavy Ball here. Get a look at my prize cards. And I see a piece of Mewtwo V Union prized, which is really annoying. Also another Kirlia. I think I only run 2 Kirlias, maybe 3. I kind of forget. So having that Mewtwo V Union prize is really annoying. And now my goal is to just get draw support out, be able to get any kind of offensive momentum. So I'm playing very aggressively here, even quick balling away the Psychic Energy. Might have been a misplay. I don't think so. But yeah, I grab a... I think it's that Ralts is fake. I grab a Radiant Greninja instead of the Ralts. I actually like recorded 10 minutes of this video before I realized I had the original audio on, and I'm like, I have to do it again. But so I grab a Radiant Greninja, a Ralts, and a Shadow Rider Calyrex V. Yeah, here I go. Pick it back up. I think it might have been better to get 2 Shadow Rider Calyrexes out just for the potential energy manip. But the refinement plays do come in clutch, so it's definitely the right decision to play down 1 Ralts. And then I grab the Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX with the Evo Incense. So quick ball of Greninja, Evo Incense, Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, Fog Crystal, Ralts, and Shadow Rider Calyrex V. So off to a, you know, catching up. This is really good first hand for me after my opponent draws so many cards off the first turn. I think I can't really do anything else here. I don't have any other cards in my hand, so I pass. I do apologize for not, like, the screen in the bottom right is supposed to, like, have my hands, or have my hand, like, on camera, but I don't always do that, so that's my bad. And it's something I do correct in future installments. Like, if you watch some of the earlier episodes, you see me not even having on my bench Pokemon in frame. But, you know, as I record more and more footage and do more of these videos, the content refines itself and gets better and better. So my opponent attaches their energy to Raikou and also evolves their Mareeps into Flaffy. They fleet-footed here, drawing another card. Not like they need it because they have an insane hand right now. Really scary. Yeah. Professor Burnett 2 is also a staple card in V-Union decks, allowing them to discard 2 of the Morpeko Vs, V-Unions out of their deck. Very frustrating, very scary. I know my opponent doesn't have any more Pekos in their prize cards. Not because I know that in game, but because I just commentated and edited this footage, right? But yeah, I'm shaking in my boots right now. My opponent, you know, has 2 Dynamotor Flaffies, allowing them to attach 2 Lightning Energy from their discard pile and attach to their Pokemon. They play down a Regieleki and then Stormy Mountains here. The Regieleki really scary for my Ralts. Being able to do a lot of damage to my bench Pokemon. I don't think it's going to come in play with, I think they're going to get the Morpeko out before the Regieleki, but if I don't evolve these Ralts right away, now I'm scared, right? So they would need to do attack with Regieleki 3 times in order to do enough damage to knock out my Kirlias, or 4 times to knock out Greninja, so it's really not too much of a threat for the bench damage. I don't really run a Manaphy in this deck just because of a tight deck list, and I get Lightning Rondoed here for, I think it's 160. It's a lot of damage. 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon, as you can see in the screen there. And my Namorous is just going to get sacked off next turn. Evolving to Curly, evolving to Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, and then I top deck a Psychic Energy, which is, thank God, I needed that so bad just to get the draw support. I could have grabbed some random worthless item and then been absolutely bricked, right? But I did have the Curly in hand, so whatever it was, I could have drawn 2 cards anyway. But it is good to get the Energy Manip off of the Underworld Door and the draw support. Yeah, then I Refinement away a Roxanne, concealed cards with Greninja just to get some cards in my hand, because again, I had 0 cards in my hand like a couple seconds ago. This deck is insane with draw support. Its offensive pressure is a little bit weaker in the early game, but it is really scary because with Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, it just snowballs super fast with Energy Manip and offensive pressure, right? So it's like you want to deal with this threat as soon as you possibly can. So off to a little bit of a slow start, not really, but compared to where our opponent's at, especially with all those mulligans, I am a little scared. My Namorous is going to get knocked out this turn, pretty much acting as fodder. I get rid of the Namorous in future iterations of the deck. I forget if I said that. So they Serena away 3 cards here, getting a Lightning Energy in their discard pile, and the 3rd piece of Exodia with Morpeko v Union. I'm really like, yeesh, this is really troublesome. My opponent, as you can see here, pulls a Radiant Greninja, which is, cool. Now they can get more Lightning Energy in their discard pile even easier. So they concealed cards here, and then Dynamotor it to the Regieleki, I think. They Dynamotor twice to the Regieleki. I guess they fleet-footed first. I'm kind of like getting the order of events here all scrambled up, right? Yeah, attaching another Air Balloon to Flaffy, I think just to kind of thin his hand. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen him attach an Air Balloon to the Raikou, and instead they put it on the Flaffy, which is a little strange. But you know how it is. Like I guess they don't want me to like boss his order out like a Flaffy and like kind of ruin all his offensive pressure, right? Or his early game advantage. But I was speaking of early game advantage. He knocks out my Enamorous V, drawing 2 prize cards. I Underworld Door here. Attaching 3 energy to my Shadow Rider Calyrex, so he can't attack now for 100 damage. Not be knocking out a Raikou anytime soon. Played on another Ralt to do with the cards I do draw. And I also grab a Forest Sealstone, which is really nice, allowing me to look up any 1 card in my deck. It doesn't come in play immediately. I don't use it right now. And I do attach a Psychic Energy for turn to the Kirlia here, the pre-release Silver Tempest Kirlia. I Evo Incense here too, I think to grab a Gardevoir. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and it's really nice because you can Refinement with Kirlia, and then evolve Kirlia into Gardevoir and Refinement again. And then I Professor's Research. Again, this deck has insane draw support. Just need a little bit more offensive pressure. I might put... There's 2 Shadow Rider Calyrex Vs and VMAX, and I might put 3 in deck in the future. Getting rid of the Enamorous. That's a nice thing about, like building a ton of decks is like slowly updating the deck list over time so that they're a little bit more effective, right? My Rose Tower bumping out their Stormy Mountains, and not like it really matters or anything. Because my opponent, if I get rid of that Raikou, they're just gonna put down the Morpeko v Union, I'd imagine. And the Rose Tower, I think it's going to help me more than it helps my opponent, because I usually burn through my hand here really quickly. Quick Ball away, I think it was a Professor's Research? Maybe? And then I throw out another Shadow Rider Calyrex V, just because I really need the energy manip that comes with having 2 Shadow Rider Calyrex that is such a mouthful. VMAX is in play, right? And the draw support with Underworld Door is always really nice as well. Again, Refinement, Underworld Door, like, and concealed cards is draw support the deck, right? Taking a breath here. I think I pal pad here just to it kind of helps put some supporters back into my deck, and you know, with having this like crazy of draw support, right, and you know, burning through your deck this fast, any like recycling of cards in your discard pile back in your deck helps a ton. The goal right now is to get as much energy attached to all my Pokemon. As you can see, Max Geist here, I think I do 130. Yeah, 130 damage, because it does 30 more damage for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So I Underworld Doored, I attached 2 last turn, and I attached this 2 this turn. One of them to the Gardevoir here, which might come into play later. I think I attached it before I had my second Shadow Rider Calyrex in play. But I don't do enough damage to knock out my Raikou. It's going to be a 2-hit KO. So it is my opponent's turn now. I did not Forest Seal Stone last turn. They concealed cards with the Greninja here. You know, because my opponent like desperately needs a draw support, right? I guess being able to Dynamotor too with the Flaffy. Ultra Balling, and I think they grabbed the last piece of Exodia here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there it is. 4 pieces of Exodia. Morpeko is not in the discard pile yet. It's still in his hand, so I don't have too much to worry about. Just kidding. It just got discarded with a Quick Ball. I think he's obviously going to let the Quick Ball fail because his bench is full. And now I'm kind of like sandwiched between wanting to knock... I guess he doesn't let it fail. He grabs the Cool and Zekrom. And I'm like, oh, let me admire the artwork on this beautiful card a little bit, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sandwiched because as soon as I knock out this Raikou V, it's a huge offensive threat right now, doing a ton of damage with 9 bench Pokemon on the field. He's going to throw out Morpeko V Union, and I really, I think I have like 1 piece of Mewtwo V Union in the discard pile, if any, right? So they Dynamotor here, I think attaching a Lightning Energy to Regieleki, not needing to Dynamotor anything else. So 2 Flaffies in the bench right now. Oh, they play a Marnie too. I thought it was a Roxanne for a second. Might be. I'm not really sure anything too good in my hand, but I do have a. I did pull a Kirlia with the Marnie, so it's not too big of a deal, and a Psychic Energy, which is pretty clutch, pretty goated, and it does 200 damage. Raikou's Lightning Rondo, right? 200 damage, drawing for turn. Okay, so this is a really good turn for me. I top deck a Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, and then I evolve my Ralts into a Kirlia, being able to Refinement twice per turn, Underworld Door twice per turn, and also concealed cards with Greninja, right? Underworld Door, attach a Psychic Energy to the Shadow Rider Calyrex, and Shadow Rider Calyrex is 4 Seal Stone here, grabbing, I think, oh, I grab an Avery, which is actually a pretty clutch play here. And if you can look at the card right here, you get to draw 3 cards, and then your opponent has to discard Pokemon from their bench until they have 3. And again, I grabbed that with the 4 Seal Stone. But again, just you do more damage with Calyrex. I Refinement away a Quick Ball here just to get as many cards in my hand. I'm still looking for Mewtwo V Union because that is my win con right now. I don't think Shadow Rider Calyrex is going to do it. I do grab a Training Court here, being able to Underworld Door twice, because I have used Greninja's concealed cards. Training Court, Radiant Greninja, match made in heaven, right? Okay, so I Underworld Door here. I was a little bit confused, and then I use a Suspicious Food 10, which discards a Psychic Energy from your Pokemon, which is going to be really nice, because it means my Calyrex is not going to get knocked out by Raikou next turn. Not like it would be anyway, because I'm gonna knock the Raikou out, and they only have Flaffy on their bench. And I'm just basically trying to be able to tank an attack from the Morpeko V Union, right? So I do Refinement away a Mewtwo V Union card. Again, I need to hold my cards in frame. I'm sorry. Again, it's something I watch out for in future episodes. So I think I Underworld Door twice this turn. And then I also attach a Psychic Energy per turn to Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. Taking the knockout, drawing 2 prize cards. Much needed, right? Very essential. My opponent has a weird play here. They play down a Snorlax. A Lost Origin Snorlax too. I guess they can Dynamotor 3 they can just like being able to do 180 damage and like right off the bat in one turn for a single prizer, pretty solid. And I do attach a Morpeko V Union, very scary. As you can see here, the burst wheel synergizing very well with all the Flaffies in play. That's scary. Being able to do 300 damage in one turn. Luckily, Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX does have 320 HP. So unless they choice belt the Morpeko V, and I don't think they run choice belts, judging by the amount of air balloons. Yeah, they air balloon. They get rid of their Flaffy in play, and they're gonna do 300 damage with the burst wheel, discarding those 3 energy they just attached with Dynamotor, and that is enough to draw 3 prize cards and knock out my Shadow Rider Calyrex. Very unfortunate. Very scary. Right now I'm asking, how am I going to be able to knock out this Morpeko V Union? And things are not looking too hot, right? So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? What kind of play can I make to swing this back, right? I had 3 energy attached to that Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, and that's like where all my damage is coming from, because that's how you do damage with Max Geist. That was also a really big deal because I don't have the energy manip required anymore. So refinement twice here, getting rid of 2 pieces of my own Exodia, the Mewtwo V Union. Mewtwo V Union is cracked, especially when you can load up his attacks, right? With Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, doing a ton of damage. Getting 3 pieces of Exodia. Oh, I got all pieces of Exodia in one turn, too, mind you. Ooh, look at the sexy animation here. It's like, you play your B cards, I'm gonna play my B cards, right? Mewtwo V Union is in play again. Don't think it matters. I just don't have the energy manip required right now to really capitalize off that. And I think Mewtwo V Union's attack final burn does 300 damage. I need to do 310, right? Also evolving a Glade here after refinementing with Kirlia. I also pulled the wrong graphic. That's supposed to be a VMAX, but whatever. So I attach a Psychic Energy to Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX with Underworld Door, and I also attach a Psychic Energy to Mewtwo V Union after grabbing a Psychic Energy with Training Core from my discard pile. A lot of Psychic Energy coming in my mouth right now. Okay, so I guess I make a mistake here, and I like beg my opponent, I'm like, please, can I attach a Psychic Energy to Gardevoir instead? And he's like, sure, whatever. I guess it's because I can attack for 2, and I cross-switcher here trying to make a play. So I grab a Flaffy instead. I'm like, these are like the desperate plays, right? Yeah, you may trying to hold on to for dear life. So I cross-switcher out a Gardevoir, being able to take out 1 more prize card with the Gardevoir Magical Shot for 120. I can also retreat next turn, potentially into Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, potentially into Mewtwo V Union. I have like 3 cards left in my deck anyway, so it like hardly matters. I guess I didn't use a Training Court earlier. I used a Training Court now after Concealed Cardsing with Greninja. Yeah, and I refinement here as well. It's a little confused. This deck does so much so fast. It's a little hard to follow. Oh my god, I have like half my deck in my hand right now. And yeah, they're gonna float the Flaffy here. They can't Dynamotor 3 times, so they do need to fish for an energy. Being able to attach 2 with Dynamotor per turn, and they also need to attach 1 with per turn to Morpeko here. And I'm in a really scary position because my opponent needs 1 prize card, and yeah, there's the attach per turn. They played the Speed Lightning Energy, drawing 2 cards. Not like it matters. They're gonna retreat with Flaffy here. They're gonna Dynamotor twice, and end the game and my Gardevoir's dear life. So here they're Dynamotoring. Yep, just watching it happen in slow motion. I'm just happy I got Exodia out, and that is gonna be the end to game 1 here. Knocking, like, okay, there he is. There's Morpeko knocking out your Gardevoir, right? Really fun first game for my opponent. A little sad to see how things went off of the bat here with mulliganing like 20 times, right? But I was happy to see this deck kind of pop off and get the Mewtwo V Union out. Just didn't have the energy manip, and my opponent taking the early lead by knocking out the Enamorus with the prize card advantage was a really big deal. But it's a card game, so whatever. I lose game 1. Moving on to game 2, as you can see here, you did see a Zoroark Both me and my opponent are using the same sleeves right now. So if we like play, I say here if we use any like stadium cards, right? It's like let's be really careful to make sure we put the right stadium cards in the right deck, right? Because there's really no way to differentiate. Yeah, these are the luckily I've got all my decks now in Dragon Shields, right, after investing a little bit more into the TCG. But it's getting everything set up and play here. But Zoroark is a really cool deck. It kind of works by getting Zoroark V-Star does more damage based on how much damage your bench Pokemon have on them, and we're gonna see how exactly Zoroark V-Star gets gets set up and starts nuking, right? So we immediately attach a Lucky Egg. My opponent has an unusual deck with a Victini V. I think this is the first and only time I've ever seen a Victini deck. So it's kind of like taking a peek here at what Victini likes to do. I also get a Barrel here, and I also get a Bidoof here of my turn 1, and also have a Barrel in my hand. So as long as I don't get Marnied turn 2, I'm in a pretty good position here. Can't do much else my first turn, but I can evolve into Zoroark V-Star and Bidoof next turn, so we're in a pretty good spot that in that dimension. My opponent Hisuian Heavy Balls here, looking through their prize cards. I think it fails. We do see, I notice a lot when I play against my younger opponents, they usually struggle with Energy Manip, right? And Energy Manip is usually one of the more difficult aspects of deck building, right? But also very important. Usually it's like, are you getting enough supporters recycled in your hand? Do you have, usually it's like, can you do damage? Do you have draw support? And how is your energy manip? And those are usually the questions you ask yourself when you're building a Pokemon TCG deck here, right? So they Pokegear 3.0 here, which lets them look for a supporter card. And unfortunately for my opponent, it does fail. A little bit unlucky here, getting no energy their first turn, right? As you can see in their hand here. And, when your deck struggles with energy manip, not being able to attach energy once in a turn is very difficult to overcome, right? Especially, in Pokemon card games, usually they're determined so much by momentum and early game momentum. So I quick ball away at Dunsparce and play an Adventures Discovery. I'm going to be able to evolve my Zoroark V with the Adventures Discovery into a Zoroark V-Star. And Zoroark V-Star is so good. I mean, as long as you can get it set up turn 1 or turn 2, right? It lets you get a free Professor's Research per turn, so you can with the Phantom Star there, right? You can also see what I was talking about earlier with the Ticking Curse. Does 50 damage for each of your Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So it's a really fun gimmick, very cute. I grab a Rankaroo with a Quick Ball. I grab a Zoroark V with the Adventures Discovery, and I think I let the third, you grab 3 with your Adventures Discovery. I think I only grab 2. My Primate Wisdom here, which lets you switch a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. I think I do pick it up, and again, I'm kind of dumb, kind of pea-brained, so I don't really have it super in the focus of what's in play and what's not, right? So I Industrious and Scissors here with the Barrel. Very nice to grab that turn 2. And I do get the Gapejaw Bog here, which is another really, this card was made for Zoroark decks. I mean, why else would you use this card? Being able to put damage counters on any of your Pokemon you play, right? And allowing you to do more damage with Hisuian Zoroark, right? That is definitely a big Parasol that I attach to Zoroark V there. Interesting play here. I Ultra Ball and I get rid of a Damage Pump. But I think it's just to put any damage out right now. And I do grab a... Is it a Gengar? I grab a Gengar, yep. And if you can look at Gengar's ability there, Netherworld Gate. If this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you can put it from your discard pile onto your bench and put 3 damage counters onto the Pokemon, right? And so I use Zoroark's V-Star power here, the Phantom Star ability, which is a free Professor's Research, so I get Gengar in my discard pile for free. And I'm gonna put him back in play here, and that's 50 damage, right? With the Phantom Star, I do grab a Double Turbo, being able to actually attack this turn. And And I don't know, do I have any? I guess I do have a basic Pokemon there in Miltank. So that's 30 with a Netherworld Gate ability, and then it's 20 with Gapeja Bog. So Gengar has 50 damage counters on it. Hopefully I get some damage pumps here and I can actually move some of the damage counters from Gengar on to my other Pokemon, right? 2 Zoroarks in play is a sweet spot. This is generally what you want your bench to look like for a Zoroark deck. I know Victini V does evolve into VMAX, so you might want to get your Radiant Hulucha out there too. But you can always grab a Sharon's Care later, which lets you move in your Pokemon damage counters on it into your hand, and you're able to play, the Radiant Hulucha out and then do more damage to VMAXs with the Radiant Hulucha ability. And this is really all I can do per turn. I don't have any more damage pumps to spread damage counters to more Pokemon. So, 50 times 2, there's 2 Pokemon in play on my side of the field with damage counters on it. Minus 20 with the double turbo. I'm doing 80 damage to my opponent's Victini V. And hopefully I can get a couple damage pumps next turn. Be able to nuke this Victini VMAX. Scary. Victini VMAX does come out and play here, only needing 2 energy to attack. Again, my opponent doesn't have like a Magma Basin in this deck, I don't believe, which is kind of unfortunate, right? Allowing them to grab the energy manip they'd otherwise need, and they're just attaching energy per turn, so they're not going to be able to attack this turn no matter what. They do play the Path the Peak, which for me does not matter. It does matter for the Radiant Hulucha play I talked about earlier, because Radiant Hulucha is a Radiant Pokemon, and Radiant Pokemon have rule boxes, and Path the Peak, as you can see there, Pokemon in play with rule boxes don't have abilities. So my opponent, Pokemon catchers here, and they do get the successful heads, so they do get to switch out one of my Pokemon with one of my bench Pokemon here, grabbing the Zoroark V. Interesting play. Instead of like an Oranguru or something, I think they want to knock out my Zoroark V like right away. Maybe they see that he has no energy on him. What my opponent doesn't know is that I do have the Zoroark V-Star in play here, ready to evolve, right? So my opponent evolves into both. They have 2 Victini VMAXs in play. They don't have any energy manip, and unfortunately are not able to attack this turn, passing and allowing me to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is Oranguru Primate Wisdom, looking for a... I would know if I would actually hold my cards in frame, but again, as left is low IQ, so kind of like pondering my next decision here. Hisuian Zoroark is a very, very fun deck to pilot. Throwing down an Evo Incense on the top of my deck, evolving Zoroark into a Hisuian Zoroark V-Star, playing my first damage pump here, knocking Gengar's 50 damage counters to 30, and throwing 10 damage counters on the barrel, and also I think I throw it on the Hisuian Zoroark here. That sounds right. I think I'm just like fishing. Yeah. The other 10 to the Hisuian Zoroark. I ran out of the gold dice. I attach a choice belt to Miltank, so my opponent has only Pokemon V in play, so I can always just threaten out the Miltank. To wall install while I set up my Zoroark V-Star, my damage counters, so I will be able to nuke the Victini, right? 310. So I do make an interesting play here. I move 10 damage counters to Hisuian Zoroark. Sharon's Care lets you attach or throw all the cards in your hand back into your hand, any of your normal Pokemon that have damage counters on them, which synergizes very, very well with Hisuian Zoroark V-Star. You can, like, your opponent can do 250 damage to your Zoroark, and you're like, oh, Sharon's Care, back of my hand. You can get another one out immediately with the double turbo energy. So I bump my I bump my opponent's Path the Peak with the Gapeja Bog, attach a powerful energy to my Hisuian Zoroark V, getting that guy set up with enough damage to knock out a Victini V-Star, assuming I can get all the damage counters on all my Pokemon. Right now I have 4 out of 6, so I'm doing 200 damage, technically 180 with the double turbo in play. Yep. Not 200, 180 damage. Gotta talk to myself in the original audio here, right? So again, I don't feel threatened at all. My opponent doesn't have any energy on their Victini, and things are looking very, very scary for my opponent because, Hisuian Zoroark having like 4 of their 6 Pokemon with damage counters on them, and next turn they're gonna grab a damage pump and, make that turn that 4 out of 6 into 6 out of 6. And it's like, okay, you can Marnie me. There's really nothing in my hand I wanted. I really want a damage pump. I really want another powerful energy, just for as much damage as possible. I really want another Hisuian Zoroark V-Star. And okay, I guess I did get something good at Marnie out of my hand, because I did have the Hisuian Zoroark V-Star in play. Opponent puts down another Victini V, and they make a smart play here, not attaching the heat energy to their Victini in play, knowing it's about to get knocked out by Zoroark, and then instead they attach a Choice Belt and a heat energy to the Victini VMAX. And heat energy is a pretty interesting card, as you can see here. Any fire Pokemon heat energy is attached to get 20 plus HP, which is really, really good, especially for VMAX, especially for Radiant Charizard. And my opponent, again, you know, they're like, okay, energy manip, a little late on this Victini, we're just going to let him get sacked off. I do top deck a Hisuian Heavy Ball, looking through my prize cards here. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll grab the Hisuian Zoroark. I don't think my Babero is going to come and play. I think that guy is perfectly safe where he is. Getting 1 Industrious and Scissors per turn, getting 1 Oranguru Primate Wisdom per turn. My opponent doesn't really have much of a way of dealing with bench sniping or anything, and yeah, there we go. I get the last damage pump, and I'm able to turn that 4 out of 6 into 6 out of 6, like I mentioned earlier. And things are looking really, really scary for my opponent. That Victini is nuke no matter what, and not much in my hand here. I run the Psychic Energy for the potential, you know, Gengar plays, and also like if your opponent has a good way of dealing with special energy. But Presses Research here, drawing 7 cards. Not really looking for anything besides an energy to attach to Hisuian Zoroark here. I think I do attach the Capture Energy. Not seeing you'll Vettle or anything like that deals with special energy, so I feel pretty confident in my plays here. And I do grab the Radiant Hulucha. Oh, okay. I guess I use the Flash to White instead of like the Cross Dissolve transformation from Premier Pro. Attach a Lucky Egg to Oranguru. Again, I think just trying to thin my hand for potential Industrious Incisor plays in the future. Grabbing the Hisuian Zoroark with the Primate Wisdom play here, putting down a boss as orders. So 2 Hisuian Zoroarks with the potential to attack. My opponent should be scared right now, especially with my Hisuian Zoroark knocks out, doing 300, I guess 280 damage with the double turbo to the Victini V. And yeah, Victini VMAX, 330 HP. It is going to be a 2-hit KO, unless I can get another powerful energy on my Hisuian Zoroark here. So my opponent Marnie's here. Like, how dare you? How dare you get rid of my Radiant Hulucha play? I guess I could have pulled like a Sharon Scare and, you know, Radiant Hulucha as necessary, right? I grabbed the boss's orders, and that's the nice thing about Oranguru 2, is it is like Marnie prevention services, right? It's like if you have a card you really want in your hand, you're worried about getting Marnied, you can always Primate Wisdom it. Really, really sad to see Oranguru, you know, leave us as it rotates out of the set as we move into the Scarlet Violet meta, right? My opponent does a lot of damage with that Choice Belt. I'm knocking my Zoroark down to 10 HP. Luckily, not getting the knockout, and things are not looking good for my opponent right now. I mean, 2 Hisuian Zoroarks set up right now, and I think I'm trying to explain to my opponent how I'm going to knock them out in 1 turn, and that's not true. I don't think I can knock them out with 1 turn. I think I also get them to 10 HP, but we do forget how much... Yeah, we end the game here. I think I only do 330 HP with the powerful energy, and they were at 340 with the heat energy, so Aslef does cheat. But yeah, that is going to do it for our 4th installment in the Pokemon TCG Offline Series. Let me know what you think about the series in the comments. Again, having a ton of fun, you know, making the IRL TCG content. It was really, really cool to see, like, I'm like, oh, this is my perspective, right? It's like, oh, I think everyone's migrating to the new TCG online, moving away from the old TCG thing, right? You know, not by anyone's decision besides the Pokemon Company, right? So I think there's gonna be a big demand for Pokemon TCG content and gameplay and battles, and that was kind of the inspiration for the Pokemon TCG Offline Series. And then we see Tricky Jim, you know, arguably like the biggest Pokemon TCG YouTuber aside from like, you know, collectors like Logan Paul or Max Mofo, right? Also kind of pioneer the TCG offline kind of style, right? Or, you know, IRL gameplay, I think is a better way to put it. I think there's like one other Japanese YouTuber that does IRL gameplay. It is a pain to edit, so let me know what you think about the series. Likes, comments, subscriptions. Love to hear feedback. And yeah, that is going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.